Hello, welcome again to noise management and its control. Today is the third day of this week, and what we will do today is we will complete our discussion of reverb time, which we had initiated in the last class. And in the last class we were computing the reverb time for this room, and what we said was that we will compute the reverb time for this room using both the methods. One is where we use the relation as in this to compute absorption units, and in the second case we use the Fitzroy's equation to compute absorption units and see what kind of a difference does it make in terms of our estimate for the reverb time. So, what we had calculated was that alpha bar is 0.236 if we use the first method, and using this I compute A to be S naught natural log of 1 over 1 minus alpha bar, and S naught we have already computed as 150 square meters. So, what I get from this is 40.41 meter square. So, my reverb time in this case comes out to be 55.26 times 115.32 divided by 343.8 times 40.41, and that is equal to 0.459 seconds. Okay. So, this is my reverb time. Now, let us compute, but using the other method, because we have already said that it is likely that this approach of computation may not be accurate, because the room's reflecting surfaces have significantly different absorption characteristics in different directions. So, if that is the case, then probably it is safer to use this Fitzroy's equation to compute the parameter A. So, to do that we have to compute all these parameters Sx, alpha x and all that stuff. So, let us first do that. So, what is Sx? Sx is equal to 2 into 6.2 times 3.1 is equal to 38.44. Okay. And alpha bar for the thing is 0.06. Okay. Then Sy is 2 times 6 times 3.1, and that is 37.2, and alpha y bar. So, alpha y bar computing that will be a little tricky. So, we will do that. So, alpha bar in the x direction is 0.06. Why do I say it is 0.06? Look at this. So, before we do all this, let us first, let us say this is my x direction, this is y direction and this is z direction. Okay. Actually, I have used a slightly different convention. So, this is y and this is x. Okay. So, the area in the x direction is 6.2 times 3, that is how we have computed, right, and 6.2 times 3, and the surface and the absorption coefficient of this surface 6.2 times 3, and also the back surface is 0.06, and there is no door or anything like that. So, the overall surface absorption coefficient in the x direction remains 0.06. Now, we will do the calculation for y direction. Okay. So, surface absorption coefficient in the y direction is 0.06 times 2 into 6 into 3.1 minus the area of the door, minus the area of the door. So, what is the area of the door? 1.2 times 1.1 or 2. It's I think. So, that is, and then I have to compute the effect of the door. So, it is 0.05 times 1.1 times 2.2, and then the total area is 37.2. So, that is comes out to be 0.0593. Okay. And then SZ is 2 times 6.2 times 6 is 74.4, and alpha Z bar equals 0.38. Actually, we will do that computation because again they are different surfaces. So, alpha Z bar is 0.21 times 37.2 plus 0.55 into 37.2 divided by 74.4, and that works out to be 0.38. Okay. So, if I use the Fitzroy's relation, I get A is equal to 16.25 from Fitzroy's relation. So, I have just plugged in all these values and I get A, but we have still not accounted for the role of people. We have not accounted for the role of people. So, A with people is equal to A without people, which is 16.25, and then we add the effect of people, and that is 0.44 times 6, and you do that. So, you get 18.89. So, continuing this discussion, T rev in this case is equal to 55.26 times surface area or volume 115.32 divided by speed of sound 343.8 multiplied by A with people, and that comes out to be 0.981. So, you see that the value, if I did not use Fitzroy's relation, would be half, and maybe it will be totally off compared to the one which is computed through the Fitzroy's relationship. And the reason for this is because the surfaces are significantly different in terms of their absorption characteristics. So, if that is the case, then we have to use Fitzroy's. Now, we are fairly comfortable with how to compute the reverb time, and we have to, but the next step is we have to get an idea that whatever is the reverb time for the room which we are calculating, is that reasonably short or not. See, if it is too long, then there will be a problem with the noise, right. So, as I had discussed earlier, calculate T rev, we know how to do that, and the second thing is reduce T rev if needed, and the only way to understand whether we have to reduce it or not is we have to have a target reverberation time. So, how do we know what is the reverberation time for the room which is desirable? So, what is optimum T rev? If the reverberation time in the room is too large, then the sound becomes unintelligible, okay? You cannot understand it clearly. If the reverberation time is extremely small, you will be able to understand what is being said, but you will have a very unnatural experience, because in most of the practical or real life situations, we do hear some amount of reverberation energy. Okay. And if that energy is not there, then you will have a very unnatural experience of the sound. So, that is also not desirable. So, we do require some reverberation time, but not necessarily 0. Okay. And the amount of reverberation time we require is based upon experience, a lot of empirical data, and so on and so forth. So, what we are going to discuss in today's class is a very brief discussion on what is a good reverberation time, and it has limited applicability, but you can use similar approach to figure out what is the reverberation time in the context of your specific application as well. So, T rev optimum, that is given by another empirical relation, and the value can be calculated by a constant K1 plus 2.3026 constant K2 log of 10 V, and V is the volume of the room. In cubic meters. Okay. This relation was developed by Beranek, and these constants K1 and K2 he had measured and arrived at their estimates for situations which are particularly specific to Western societies. So, I will he has given us a table. So, I will show you the table which tells us what these constants look like. So, these are the values of K1 and K2 for different rooms and halls, different types of applications, right. So, it is a Western society, to they have different type of churches. So, for those churches, if it is a Catholic church, because the internal shape and architecture of churches are different, then K1 he said should be somewhere close to 0.098, and K2 should be 1 divided by 5. And for different types of churches, Protestant churches, it was a different number. And then for music studios, the number is minus 0.352 and 1 by 5. For conference rooms, it is a different thing, and so on and so forth. So, these data I have extracted from this book, Industrial and Noise Control, written by Barron, but these were originally estimated by Beranek, and in this book also he has drawn upon this data from Beranek's work. So, the point is, at least in our context of our country or in this geographical area, maybe these churches and these things may not be that much relevant, but there is data related to other applications for these things also. So, if you so the point is that if you have knowledge about K1 and K2, then you can use this relation to compute what is the optimum reverberation time. Let us say that the application of the example for which we have done all these calculations, this is for a conference room, where there are 6 to 8 people who can sit and have a small conference. Okay. So, if that is the case, then from the table which I had shown earlier, K1 is minus 0.101 and K2 is 2 by 15, and T rev opt is equal to minus 0.101 plus 2.3026 times 2 by 15 log 10 of the volume of the room, 115.32, and that works out to be 0.532 seconds. So, our goal, a good conference room where 6-7 people can sit and they can have intelligent conversation, the reverberation time should be 0.532 seconds. In our case, T rev is 0.982 seconds, which means that our room is not well designed to meet our goal. It's off by the goal by a significant fraction. Okay? It's almost 90% away from its goal. So, the question is, how do you bring down this? So, how do you reduce T rev from 0.982 to 0.532 seconds? Okay, this is the question. So, the answer to that is, you go back and look at the equation. So, the equation says, this is our equation for reverberation time. The equation says that reverberation time equals 55.26 times volume divided by C divided by A. Now, the room you cannot make it smaller. So, if you have to reduce reverberation time, either you reduce V or you increase C or you increase A. You cannot change C because it's speed of sound. You cannot reduce the volume of the room because the room is fixed. So, the only thing you can play with is absorption units A. So, we have to somehow increase A. If I increase A by a factor of 2, my reverberation time will become half. So, how do I increase A? So, I have computed my A based on this relation, Fitzroy's equation, and we see that inverse of A depends on Sx, S naught and all these things, right, alpha x bar, alpha y bar, and what we are seeing is that alpha x bar and alpha z bar, we have calculated it. This is alpha x bar, this is alpha y bar and this is alpha z bar. So, alpha z bar is reasonably large. See, I will go back here. If alpha, so think about it, as alpha approaches 1, the term in the bracket becomes close to 1 minus 1, which is 0. As alpha approaches 1, this becomes closer and closer to log of 0, which means this term becomes, overall this term becomes very small. So, as I and f, because log of, as you increase, so what is log of 0.1 is minus 1, log of 0.01 is minus 2, right, log of 0.001 is minus 3, right. So, as this term in the parenthesis is becoming small, the denominator is becoming larger, and as it becomes larger, the overall term which I have answered, it becomes smaller. If this becomes smaller, 1 over A will also become small, which means A will become large, right. So, if I have to increase A, I have to increase I have to increase my alpha bars, Now, alpha bars are already reasonably large, it is already reasonably large for the z direction, but for y direction and x direction it is small. So, if I can use the appropriate material on these 4 walls, so this is, so alpha, so this is y, this is x. So, on the 4 walls, if I somehow increase a more sound absorbing material, then I should be able to reduce this 0.982 to 0.532. So, if I use heavier curtains or more better sound absorbing materials or having some false panels behind which there is some air gap, all those types of techniques can help me reduce alpha x, they will help me increase the value of alpha x bar and alpha y bar significantly up, and that will cause this T-rev to go down. So, I have to again engineer and see what kind of materials I can use to improve, so that my reverberation time goes down from 0.98 to 0.532 seconds. So, this concludes our discussion on reverberation time, and what we will do starting tomorrow is we will start discussing about enclosures, because in our earlier class, the first week, we had said that can reduce the airborne noise, especially by obstruction, and by obstruction I can either enclose it or I can put walls or partitions and so on and so forth. So, what we will start looking at is how can we create enclosures around sound producing objects and what kind of noise reductions they can lead to. So, that concludes our discussion for today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you very much.